headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.
Hello there. Well, my suggestion is a little bit more radical than what you might hear of the rest of the day. Or
I'm all ears, Paul. I'm all ears. This is on P&O, is it?
Yeah. If I had anything to do with it, like in government, and had a handle on the situation, first of all, I'd find out where the ship or ships are docked. Send a detachment of Royal Marines aboard to find out if there's nobody there. If there is people there, like security guards or workers, tell them to get off, because they're going to unmoor the ships, tow them out, where a Royal Navy destroyer is going to scuttle them to the bottom.
Sorry, you're going to sink the P&O ships?
Yes, and teach the firm a lesson. They can't do this.
I mean, that is a fairly drastic solution.
Well, drastic solutions calls for drastic times calls for drastic measures, and say to the firm, don't bother to sue us or don't bother to bill us, because we won't even we'll ignore it. We won't even, because you can't go around doing disgusting practices like that.
You're angry.
That's if I had anything to do with it.
I mean, that's a pretty drastic solution. I don't think I can advocate that, and that would, of course, be criminal damage.
To be perfectly honest, and this is no reflection on you, this is the way I feel, I don't care what you think.
That's okay. That's absolutely fine. And I mean, why do you feel so angry about this? Do you know people who are involved with this, or why is it?
No, because people who have given decades of their work life to that firm are now just being fobbed off with some money, go and play somewhere else, or go and do what you want to do elsewhere. And they'll bring in some people on less wages and, less experience. And if the firm is that much, if the firm is losing hundreds of millions, just close it down.
But then you'd have even more people losing their jobs, because we have 800 people from P&O who are losing their jobs, they're being told this week. But there are a further 2,200 people who work for it, so they'd lose their jobs as well if you close it down, would they not?
Yeah, but if it's losing hundreds of millions of pounds, what's the use of keeping it going? And yet the bloke who owns it is a billionaire.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm not defending P&O at all. I think what they did was absolutely horrendous, and it's not just what they did; it's the way they did it. That pre-recorded announcement, 800 people. Right, you've been on these ships for maybe decades, or even if it's not decades, even if it's just a year or a few months, you're doing the job, you're doing an honest day's work for an honest day's wage, and then you're told to leave.
If the firm's a dead duck, why are you keeping it afloat? Well, what? So you're going to effectively slave labour workers on slave labour money to do the same job, and you've got to train them up. And what would the service be under them new workers?
Yeah, I'm sure P&O would deny that they're doing that. But listen, on slave labour wages. But Paul in London, thank you very much indeed for your thoughts on that very drastic solution there to P&O. But it's clearly something that has got people very, very angry. And maybe you're annoyed about it too. Maybe you know someone who's involved with this. Maybe maybe something similar happened to you. I've usually found in my long and varied career, having lots and different jobs, that generally people who work in HR have a sliver of ice in their heart at some stage. They're both in charge of your welfare and in charge of sacking you. So that's an interesting one anyway.
Good talk.
Hot talk. Bold talk. Talk radio.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Watch it live on your smart TV.
The world headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.